shot. I went 5.57, was playing a dream come true front nine, and then I knew par was good enough, and maybe that was what hurt me. Just wasn't quite aggressive at the ball with my 3-wood 6-iron on 10, and then the drive on 11, and then lapse in concentration on 12, and it cost me.
How disappointing is this?
Would you be disappointed? Yeah.
Absolutely, I have to say.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You set some high standards for yourself.
Yeah, sure, and I knew the lead was 5 with 9 holes to play, and I knew that those 2 bogeys weren't going to hurt me, but I didn't take that extra deep breath and really focus on my line on 12. Instead, I went up and I just put a quick swing on it.
Just like the white left big rounds yesterday, why did you feel like you came back here? And when you guys worked this morning, what was your confidence level as you hit the first tee?
It was much better. I didn't ask for him. He texted me and said, "Hey, would you like it if I came back?" And I said, "Well, sure. I mean, it can only help me if he's here." And he likes for me to be self-reliant, but at the same time, in a moment like the wheels kind of came off the last 3 holes on Saturday, and I think he felt that just his voice would bring my confidence back into my swing, and it certainly did. And he knew what was wrong, and he knew that if he were here watching shots on the range, it would make a difference. And it did. My confidence going to the first hole was fantastic. But listen, I had my B- game tee to green, and I made up for it around the greens and with my putter. Ultimately, you just have to have your A game with every single part. I just didn't have those iron swings as it showed on the back 9.
What did you learn today?
I learned what I learned in 2014, and it's just stay committed on 12. It's a 150-yard shot, and I feel like I can bleed it next to the hole, and it's a stock 9-iron for me, but that hole, for whatever reason, just has people's numbers. So stay committed behind the bunker. It was really one swing. 10 and 11, you can take bogeys there. I was still 2 under for the tournament with a couple par 5s left. My goal for the day was 4 under. So we were still right on pace. I just didn't take that extra deep breath. Michael said, hit it right here. And I remember just getting over the ball thinking I'm just going to go ahead and hit a little cut to the hole, and that's what I did in 2014, and it cost me the tournament then too. That was the right club, it's just the wrong shot. I was more comfortable hitting a draw with my irons, and I knew that every time I had played fades this week, that shot kind of came out, and I just, at the time, you're going to throw all bad swings away, and you're just going to focus on how confident you can step into that shot, and that's what I did, but the swing just wasn't quite there to produce the right ball flight. So, ultimately, I should have just played a draw on that hole. At the same time, there's so much adrenaline, and it's enough club that if it's downwind, a draw can fly over the bunkers. It's just it was a tough number for me to commit to, but I had the right club.
What about the draw, the third shot?
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what to do there. It went in so far to the right that, if I could go behind the drop zone, I could have gotten to a number that I like, similar to 2014, where I ended up saving bogey. Instead, I didn't want to drop it at 65 yards off a downslope into that green. That's just a number where you can't get the full spin. I wanted to get it to a number where I could have it end up where it landed. It'd take a skip and come back. So I wanted 80 yards. And so I tried to get 80 yards. I'm not really sure what happened on the next shot. I just hit it fat.
Can you talk about coming back on the last few holes and really having a chance at 16 to maybe?
Yeah, I was. It was very, very cool what the patrons here did for me, and they almost brought me back into it. So, I played 13, made birdie. Bad drive on 14, made up for it. Birdied 15, and all of a sudden, they believed I could do it, and it helped me believe I could do it. And I just, the putt I made, I made a putt last year on 16. I missed the one this year. If that goes in, who knows what happens at the end. But yeah, it was, of course we're going to fight back, There's no give up in us, and we tried, but, one bad swing.
Jordan, you have 4 doubles or worse this week. So what does that tell you about your game that you still finished second in the Masters?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't need to come here to take confidence out of my game. I'm very confident in the way that we play the game of golf. I think that when we're on, I believe we're the best in the world. I believe we were the best in the world with getting by for the most part this week with what felt uncomfortable over the ball with my iron play. I hit some really good irons, but for the most part it was my ability to map out the course, my putting, and my short game that was pretty much had us in the lead. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of holes significantly over par. What's really tough for me to swallow is to shoot 3 over par rounds in a row after opening up, with 66. And I understand the conditions were tough, but with my expectations, I should never shoot 2 over par rounds in a row, no matter what the golf course is, even a U.S. Open. And so to shoot 3 on a course that, where I was under par through 9 holes each round, that's what's tough to take away.
Jordan, you had talked about how you didn't want to give up the green jacket. You were hoping to return with it in your suitcase. What was that ceremony like, and just having to take it off and put it back on?
Yeah, it was, as you can imagine, that was, I can't think of anybody else who may have had a tougher ceremony to experience. Obviously happy for Danny. More important than golf, he's had a lot of really cool things happen in his life, and like he said, maybe fate had it this time for him, and I certainly wanted to control fate myself, but it was very tough given that it's so soon after the finish, and it was tough, but I thought that he handled it with extreme class, and I thought that I stood up there and smiled like I should, and appreciated everybody who makes this great tournament possible.
Jordan, we only watch what it's like from the outside. What's it like inside?
It's about what it's probably like watching from the outside. I can't imagine that was fun for anyone to experience other than maybe Danny's team. And those who are fans of him. It was at one point I told Mike, I said, buddy, it seems like we're collapsing. And, I wanted to be brutally honest with the way I felt towards him so that he could then respond with what is necessary to get us to rebound, and he did. And we rebounded. I hit a great drive. I hit a good 7-iron and got a tough break, and I made 2 birdies coming in, and it almost made a couple more. But boy, you wonder about not only just the tee shot on 12, but why can't you just control the second shot, and make 5 at worst, and you're still tied for the lead. So big picture, this one will hurt. It'll take a while.
Twice a defending champion has had the 54-hole lead at the Masters. Both times those defending champions ultimately lost. Ben Hogan shot a 75 on Sunday, had the 54-hole lead as the defending champion, now Jordan Spieth. Let's start with this. Jordan Spieth took a lot of heat in social media for his reaction to Butler Cabin, putting the green jacket on Danny Willett, some folks taking some shots at him. There's no cool down period. He has to go from what happened into Butler Cabin, put the green jacket on. Now, a half hour later, you see the Jordan Spieth that we have all seen forever. So let's put an end to that.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine if Greg Norman would have had to go in and put a green jacket on Nick Faldo. I think we would have seen the same thing. If you're not a fan of Jordan Spieth after listening to that and watching that, well, you should be, because the game of golf's in great hands with Jordan Spieth, and he just illustrated why. Honesty that we rarely get from top athletes, and that's why Jordan Spieth is so easy to root for. But he's also the reason why, Jim, he's such a quick learner. He learns from his mistakes. He rebounds. And the one thing I think he'll take away, or the 2 things I think he'll take away more than anything, is a page out of Tiger Woods' book. Tiger Woods would have never stood on the 10th tee with a 5-shot lead and said, all I need is par. He would have gone, I want to make it 10. And that's the difference. And I think if you look at that, and Jordan Spieth has the ability to expand that lead. Now, this week he may not have had the tools in the toolbox with the iron game, but you know what? That's the mentality. I think that if he goes and starts doing that in major championships, it's going to pay off for him. The other thing is, What is every old pro that's played the 12th that said you aim in the middle of that bunker,
finger, right?
yeah, you aim at the finger of that bunker, and you do not go right of that. And I think he'll learn that too, and he'll play the 12th in a different manner on Sundays from now.
Well, the 12th hole